listening to Jai Long, and this is Make Your Break. Whether you're a big-hearted creative or an aspiring entrepreneur, let's take action on your dreams, reconnecting you with your why and giving you the how. I'm here to dish out actionable mindset tips and fun industry secrets to help you blow up your biz. From eye-opening reality checks to motivational gold, no two episodes are ever the same. So tune in weekly, skip the FOMO, and let's dive into the deep together. Hey, welcome back to the show. You're listening to Jai. I am really excited to have you here. Right now, if you're listening to this, it's 2023. I am in my new house. I'm recording a whole new season for you. And I'm really excited about changing up the podcast a little to bring you better information, better content, better speakers, and everything else. So if you have been following this podcast for a little while, you know that I'm obsessed with leveling up and creating something as good as it can be. And for the podcast, it's no different. So I'm really am excited about bringing you along on a journey to help your creative business make a lot more money, make more impact, and you can do it all shamelessly. At the same time, getting back your life, living that lifestyle and doing the things that you love. Because you know that I say, like, F being a struggling artist your whole life. I know that so many of us have been put in a box. We are led to believe that it's impossible. We can't do it. It's too hard for us. You can't do what you love and make money at the same time and everything else. Trust me, I've heard it all. But I've been able to show people a new way. I've been able to do it for myself. And I love the fact that you're here right now listening to this, because today's episode is going to change your life in a big way. Now, before we get into today's episode, don't forget you can leave me a review on the Apple Podcast app. It does help us reach new people on the app. And I am giving away a free mentoring session this month to one lucky winner. All you have to do to get into that is literally get onto the Apple Podcast app, leave a review, and I'm going to choose out one person at the end of the month. So good luck on that one. And thank you so much for spreading the word and getting the podcast out to the world. I really do appreciate it. So let's get into today's episode. Today I'm talking about taking responsibility. It is one of the most important things that you can do as a business owner, as a human, as a partner, as a father, as a mother, as a friend, as a business partner, like whatever it is that you are and who you are out there in the world, interacting with everybody. Taking full responsibility is going to be the thing that takes you to another level. Now, I know you've heard people say that before, and it can seem wishy-washy, and you don't understand how that can apply to your life, or you know that it's harder to do than it is to say. Of course, you know, so often actually not taking responsibility is a sign of showing our insecurities, low self-esteem and things like that, because when you do take responsibility, it can be really hard to do it. And so you have to be strong within yourself to be able to take that on board, especially when it comes to your partners in life as well, and your relationships. So we're going to talk all about that. So in the episode today, I'm actually going to go over life, business, and relationships. So those are three pillar things and how that looks when you're taking responsibility in your life. Now, before we do get started, I did read a really cool quote that I wanted to share with you, and it goes like this. This is by Dr. Dennis Waitley. There are two primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist, or accept the responsibility for changing the outcome. Now, for me, that is so important, because you most probably by now know my upbringing and how I grew up and everything. And I have been surrounded by so many people throughout my life that always did accept the situation that they're in. And the problem is with that is you feel like things are out of your control, and you feel like you don't know the next step, and you feel like maybe you're born in the wrong neighborhood, maybe you didn't go to school, maybe you are the wrong color, maybe the wrong weight, maybe the wrong gender, maybe like whatever it is in your head that's holding you back, right? Because society puts these norms out there and they expect us to conform to exactly what they want. But when you take full responsibility, I'm talking about something completely different. And I know, yes, it can be hard for you. So bear with me, maybe listen to this episode a couple of times, because I have literally witnessed some of the most misfortunate people in my life and underprivileged, and also some of the, the richest people that I know, people that just keep on getting success no matter what the world throws them. And the biggest difference is One will always settle for what they have and play the blame game, look for excuses, and take no responsibility, actually, always looking for someone to share that responsibility with. But the other person that seems to get tremendous amounts of success are the ones that step up and say, everything's my fault. And I take full responsibility of what's happening right now. And I'm taking responsibility of changing my situation. I am going somewhere. I've got goals. Get out of my way. Let's make this happen. I think it's just so important to understand that, because when I see that difference, it is game changing. Like, it literally is. So let's start off with life. What does it mean to be responsible for your life and in life in general? One thing that I want to talk about is acting on a situation, not reacting. So reacting a lot of the times is when something's out of our control, out of our situation. And one really cool thing is, what I want you to do is, when you get triggered by something or you react in a way that you don't absolutely love about yourself or about the situation, instead of acting on that situation, I want you to really think about those times, because it's a clear sign to show you where you need to work on yourself, on your mental health, on your mindset. Because when we become reactive, it's from a place of we're out of control, we don't know what's going on, we don't know how to handle it, we don't know how to communicate, we don't know if we like that situation, we don't know if that's with our values. There's so many other things. But when we act on the situation, we can look at it from a different point of view. It's like, yes, I don't agree with what you just said, but I'm going to act accordingly to make sure everybody feels involved, included, and then move on with the conversation or with the situation. So a lot of the times with our life, we need to act on all situations. What does that mean? It means being hyper aware and honest with yourself. So often something comes along, maybe it's like the pandemic, you've seen this. And then people all of a sudden were like, it's out of my control. It's a pandemic. No one's seen this coming. I've lost my business. I've lost work. I've lost this. But in actual fact, there's always something around the corner that's coming for you and your business. And you need to know that, right? So if you do know that and you take full responsibility, you're going to act on the situations, because when something does happen, when a recession happens, when you get the bad review, when your favorite employee quits, when something happens in your life, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know that exact thing was going to happen, but something was going to happen. And I've prepared myself for this situation. I've worked on my mindset. I am strong within myself, and I can move forward and I can act the way that I want to act and show up in my life. I think that's like one really, really important thing. Another one, like in your life, and I want you to think about this, complaining is one of those negative personality traits that one needs to get rid of, right? So often we see people complaining, our friends complaining, family complaining, our employees, our bosses, whoever it is. But complaining achieves nothing except pushing people away. Yes, complaining, like blaming others, makes you feel good for a little while, but it doesn't achieve anything. Rather than complaining, choose to do something about the bad situation. Rather than complaining, we need to choose and take responsibility. So if something is there that you don't like in your life, something's not working out, a friend is not respecting you, you're not getting the big job, the big opportunity, something is not working in your favor, then you need to take responsibility. It's like, what can we do here to change it? What do I need to know? Where do I need to be? How can I make it happen? So often I've done this in my life, right? It's so easy for us to say like, oh, it was a bad recession, it's a bad time, it's a bad economy, there's no work, you have to be in a big city to get work, no one pays creatives, no one has any money, no one has the budget. We say these things over and over to ourselves because we push the blame to something else. But really, if you take responsibility, you need to look after your own economy, not worry about the world's economy, right? If there's a recession, it's like, there's no recession for me. I'm looking after my economy. I don't turn on the news. I don't know what's happening with economics. I know for myself what I need to do, how to adapt, pivot. I know my clients better than they know themselves. I know my clients better than I know myself. I am always looking after my economy because I'm taking full responsibility with what's going on in my ecosystem at all times, right? It's so easy just to blame it's a bad economy, it's a recession, people don't have money, things are getting expensive, inflation's killing my business. Inflation is not killing your business. You are killing your business by thinking inflation is killing your business. You need to have the right mindset, go out there and learn new strategies, meet new people, get in new rooms, because these are the things that you have to do to show up for your business. And business was never going to be easy. If you went and did the easy thing, you'd be working in a supermarket right now packing shelves, but that's not the choice that you made. This isn't easy. It's hard. You took that pill and now you have to play that game, right? And that is taking full responsibility with everything within your world. Which brings me on to my next point in life. It's creating your own opportunities. Now, I've done a whole podcast episode on this, but it's so fucking important that you create your own opportunities. Just remember, you need to be in the right place at the right time all the time. I get told that all the time. Like, Jai, you just know the right people. Like, that's how you get successful. Yes, I do. I know the right people at the right time all the time. Jai, you're just in the right place at the right time. That's right. I am, and it's funny how that works. I'm in the right place at the right time all the fucking time, right? So this is so important for you to adopt that mindset, because what does it mean? Well, it means you're going to get out of your lounge room. You're going to step out of your bedroom. You're going to get out of your office. You're going to go out into the world. You're going to meet new people, get into a new room, have new conversations. You are going to be in the right place at the right time all the time because you created those opportunities. So within these opportunities, there's always an opportunity there for us, and we need to see if it's the one that we want, and then how much do we want it? Because depending on how much you want it is how much you're going to show up for it and take action on it, and you're going to act on the situation, not react to the situation. So if I see a job opportunity come up, of course, I'm going to research the job, the person, who's employing, what problems do they have? I mean, how can I bring value to that person? How can I bring value to that company? What can I do in my power to get that job? And so I will do all of that. And then when I go for that job, most of the time I'm going to get the job, right? Because I create an irresistible offer for myself and I take the job. I don't ask for it. I don't apply for it. I take the job. And I tell the boss, if you employ me, this is how much more money I can make you. This is how much easier life's going to be. These are the tasks I can take off your plate. These are the things that I'm going to over deliver, even though it's not even part of my job description. This is how I'm going to show up. This is the attitude that I bring. These are the values that I abide by. So I put myself forward because I'm creating my own opportunities. Also, of course, I know so many successful people, and there's been so many people in my circle that's helped me in so many different ways. And I know that taking responsibility of going out there and meeting new people and giving people time is going to help me in my pursuit of hitting unrealistic goals. And so you need to think like that as well. You can't just accept right now the gravity of, like, you're sitting there, you don't know anyone, you don't know the next person that's going to take you to another level, you don't have those right relationships, you don't know the person that's going to book you more work or show you a new way, but you're listening to a podcast right now and you're listening to me and we're friends, right? So you're already taking responsibility. A lot of my biggest mentors in life and a lot of my friends that have helped me in so many different ways, I've never actually met them. I listen to them on podcasts, I read their books, I consume their content because I take responsibility and I know everyone around me is not going to give me what I need to hit the goals that I'm going for. And so I expand my inner circle by consuming and listening to people that I love and the way that they move. And there's always people that have bigger success than I have in my life. So then that way I can see and be inspired by those people and I can see how it's going to happen for me. So in your life, remember, act on situations, don't react. It's so, so important. So let's talk about your business. So in business, there's always so many opportunities and you need to create those opportunities, right? Like I said before, be in the right place at the right time all the time. Now, I remember when I first started my wedding photography business and I traveled to the US and I shot 8 weddings for free. I traveled all around the place. I shot some weddings in gorgeous national parks, cities, New York City, Chicago, like all over the place. And they were so beautiful. And at the end of it, they got featured in all the top publications and I got named top rising 30 wedding photographers in the world by Rangefinder, and I got sponsorships and all these things. And yes, they all came because I was in the right place at the right time. It just so happens to be all the time. But what people don't see is I was booking flights. I was staying on couches. I was direct messaging people on Instagram and seeing if I could stay with them. I was working things out, right? I would get a phone call or I'll get an email and it says, Jai, we're getting married in Chicago. Are you going to be there? And I would always reply, guess what? Just so happens that same weekend, I happened to be in Chicago. How's that for timing? Was I really going to be there? Absolutely not. Did I quickly book a flight so I was there? Yeah, I did. Did I pay for it myself? Yeah, of course, man. Nothing's going to stop me in my success, right? And so with my business, it's the same thing. I'm always in the right place at the right time because I'm out there all the time, away from my computer, in the real world, meeting people, shaking hands, talking, networking, and bringing value to people. I think that's so important to know. So in your business, you're going to have different opportunities where it could be the right clients coming your way. Like it could be marketing, advertising. That's one thing that we don't really talk about too much as it's an opportunity. There's so many amazing ways right now that we can benefit for all the tools that we have in the world. And I want to show you an example. Passing on the blame and accepting your reality for the way it is right now is saying something like, Instagram is dead. Social media is not working anymore. I get no interactions. I get no email inquiries anymore, So that's us playing the blame game. That's not taking responsibility. Taking responsibility is like, holy shit, I'm using a platform that's free, maybe it's Instagram, and I have access to millions, actually billions of people all around the world for free, instantly. And all I have to do is create some amazing content to reach those people. And I've got to keep showing up and publishing content. I can use these tools. I can advertise. I can even pay to play, and I can advertise and skip the years and years worth of organic reach. And I can actually directly reach the right people at the right time if I go out there and I learn the right things. So a lot of the times we play the victim, or we have that mentality of like blaming other people or other platforms and things like that. It's because we have a knowledge gap. We simply don't know what the next step is. So it's easier, instead of knowing what the next step is, it's easier just to say it doesn't work, or it used to be better, or whatever it is. But remember, the only constant that you have is everything's always changing, everything's always evolving, and you need to be doing the same. You can't just be posting the same stuff as you did 3 years ago, creating the same content, have the same website, have the same price guide, having the same exhibitions, doing the same thing, and expect it just to continue to grow and grow and grow, because everything changes. The way that we use the internet changes, the way that we use social media. Right now there's more videos than ever before. Videos are doing best if they're 7 seconds long, right? That wasn't the case 3 years ago. So things adapt and change, and then those that take full responsibility of everything they're doing, they adapt and they change fast because they know no one else is going to do it for them. No one else is going to show them the blueprint. They need to try it out themselves. And yes, they're going to fail lots of times, but it doesn't matter because they're taking responsibility of the success and the failures, everything in between. And that's why those people always get the big success, and we marvel at those people. And that's going to be you. That's why I said taking full responsibility is going to be the thing that changes the game for you. I mean, what other examples can we use? I've got friends that are like musicians, for instance, and it's easy to say like, no one listens to this type of music anymore. No one listens to Spotify anymore. No one pays to go to gigs anymore. But there's so many opportunities and things happening on social media right now. Like I literally in the last maybe 3 months, I've started following big musicians that have got over 1 million followers, and they've only just started their account, and they do it because they're using social media right, and they're creating good content, and they've got a strategy, and they're thinking about these things, so you can see when someone takes responsibility, they take themselves and their business to a whole new level, and that's what I want you to do. Now, last but not least, let's talk about relationships. Relationships are so important for us as creative entrepreneurs, working our way through the world, for our mental health, for our physical health, for everything else. And when I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about with your partner, your friends, your family, business partners, clients, and customers. So throughout any day, we have so many different relationships. It could be a relationship with your business coach, could be me listening to my podcast, and you just sent me a message, which people do all the time. Thank you for the podcast, Jai. It's helped me so much. Like that's you looking after your relationships, taking full control, full responsibility of the way that people see you and the way that you actually meet people. So I want you to think about something really simple here. Relationships don't have to be hard, but for some reason they seem so complex to so many of us, and it's almost like, how do we crack the code? But one code I want you to think about, and you've heard this phrase before, treat others how you want to be treated. I'm going to say this one more time. Treat others how you want to be treated. Now, this is so simple and it rings so true, right? One of the reasons why it rings so true is because a lot of the times we have friends and family and we like to complain about how maybe it's an unequal relationship. Maybe you show up more for them. Maybe you give them more phone calls, more texts. Maybe you show up for them more for coffees, or you give them presents at Christmas or their birthday. You remember their birthday, they don't remember your birthday. So often they can feel like it's unfair. Or maybe they don't talk to you. Maybe they don't cook you dinner at night. Maybe they're not helping with cleaning the house. Things like this, right? But every time I've talked to someone about their relationship, I've always said, first thing, do you do that for them? The thing that you want, do you do that for them? Do you treat them that way? Do you communicate with them? Do you cook for them? Do you clean for them? Do you do these things? And a lot of the times it's like, no, actually, I never thought about that. I don't. I expect them to do it, but I've never done it myself. And I think it's one of the biggest flaws and also one of the lowest hanging fruits we have in our relationships on how we can improve ourselves. Because if you want to be treated in a certain way, if you want people to reach out to you more, if you want people to respect you more, then you need to do the same for them. And you need to show them over and over unconditionally. You're not doing it so then they change. But when you do it, you inspire the other person in that relationship, and you'll see that they will be more honest, more vulnerable, and in doing so, it's going to encourage them to open up more, to be more candid, to be more authentic with you. And the results is going to end up being more meaningful. So you're going to have a more meaningful conversations, more meaningful relationship with that person. And that's what we always want. Now, before we get into just taking full responsibility of everything, and I 100% believe that you should, but there is a catch. So there's a thing called accepting misplaced blame. Now, in relationships in particular, this is extremely important, and the difference between taking responsibility and accepting misplaced blame, okay, there is a big difference. Taking responsibility is never accepting blame for things you didn't do. For example, when your partner tells you that something is your fault, you don't automatically take responsibility for whatever mistake it was. It's common in unhealthy relationships, in particular, if someone is maybe codependent, right? One person could be a manipulator, and they are, if they're saying everything is your fault, it's all your fault. So how do we know what to take responsibility for them? Well, the way that I look at things is I take full responsibility when it's me and my conclusion that I've made the mistake or I need to change something. But if someone's telling me it's my fault or I need to do better, then I put up my alarm bells and my screen, and I'll start screening things, especially in relationships, right? I fully take responsibility in everything. If someone was actually telling me it's my fault, I do take it on board and say, yeah, it is my fault. It's my fault that you don't value me enough to actually put me down like that, right? So then I start thinking about, well, what do I need to do and how do I need to treat them to change that situation and that mindset? Like, what can I do in that situation? And then how did I enable that? And how did I allow that? Maybe I'm not loving myself enough. I don't know. So I do think about that a lot. But you also got to know that it's toxic when someone is telling you it's your fault and they're not taking the blame themselves, and then they are not taking full responsibility. And remember, it's not your fault. They have insecurities, low self-esteem. They need to work on their mindset. There's so many different things. But what I want you to do is I don't want you to react. I want you to act on those situations. So reacting to those situations is, of course, like blowing up, having a big argument, everything else. But really, if you act, you can stop, take a breath, think about it. And why is that person saying this to me right now? Like, what is the meaning of this? How did I allow this right now? So I want you to really think about those things. So please, I don't want you to take on other people's blame and take responsibility for things, for their actions, because that's just enabling them. Yes, you take responsibility for everything in your life, everything. But remember, it's unhealthy in relationships if someone's putting responsibility onto you. You need to take ownership of that responsibility yourself. So all this to say, and I do want to wrap this up, for a healthy relationship, it needs to have both partners They can't be ignored. They need to be accepted. They need to feel loved, heard. They need to both take responsibility, the way that they act, the way that they treat each other, the way that you treat your friends, your family, your clients, your customers, and everything else. And the only reason why you ever get a negative review is when we don't take full responsibility of everything, and then we start placing the blame onto our clients or to other people, pushing the blame away from ourselves. If you just take full responsibility for yourself, your actions, your business, everything you're doing, the client experience, the way that you show up, everything, then your business is going to change and your 2023 is going to be completely different. And I've said this once before, man, when you do this, life changes. And it's the biggest thing that I've seen and the biggest secret that I know between people that have tremendous amount of success and people that struggle with success and tend to blame and complain. All right, so you get to choose which side of that coin you want to be on. And of course, this is a lot of mindset stuff and it's going to take a long time. I'm definitely not saying it won't. It's definitely worth it. If you want to be your best version of yourself and you want to go out there and inspire people, book as much work as you can, do the things that you love, get paid for it, make bigger impact on those that are around you, then it all starts within, working on yourself, working on how you can act on these situations, not react, and better move through the world. And that's it for today. Thanks for listening to Jai Long. Guys, thank you for that review as well. I really do appreciate it. One lucky winner this month is going to get a coaching call with me, so that's cool. And I'm going to see you next week.